Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now, I came across this video by Kemi Olunloyo. It was one of our videos on her running battle with Davido, the artist. This video that I am making, though, is not about Kemi's running battle with Davido. I will probably make a separate video on that at some point. This video that I'm making, rather, is about something that Kemi said on her video. On her video, she made mention of the distinction, the dichotomy, the difference between the elite and the wealthy. So the elite and the wealthy. So she made the mention of the distinction between these two sets of people, and this really is something that piqued my interest, and I thought I would make a make a video about it. So this is my entry point into that conversation between well, not necessarily the conversation between Kemi and Davido, because I'm not really entering into that conversation, but this is something I've picked off what Kemi said in our video, which I'm looking to address. So now, first, let's start with definitions. So let's start with definitions. So we're looking at elites and we're looking at the wealthy. So who are the wealthy? The wealthy, as you know, are people with money, people with resources, people with assets, etc. So that is how you would describe somebody as being wealthy. So those are the parameters of definition for a wealthy person. And the elite, of course, there is select group that are deemed to be superior to the rest of society because of a perceived superior ability, or oftentimes by virtue of a lineage, that means the family they were born into, etc. But really, I am not doing this video really as a language lesson. I'm not really wanting the literal definition. I am really talking about how they work in practical terms, how these distinctions work in practical terms, especially set within the Nigerian landscape, which of course is my background. So elitism is quite a funny thing in Nigeria. We have a term in Nigeria that we call ajebota, and ajebota is somebody that is deemed to come from privilege, from an educated background, etc. So that is what an ajebota is. The equivalent of an ajebota outside of Nigeria will probably be somebody that grew up in some sort of gated community. But really, I say but really a lot. Actually, I have to pay attention to that. But really, no. Within the Nigerian context, the difference between an elite and the moneyed is quite marked and distinct, and defined rather. Well, it's distinct as well. It's marked and defined. The elite in Nigeria is what some of you might term as old money. These are families that have held and retained in some form leadership roles within the Nigerian context pretty much since the country was founded, and probably even long before that. I'm talking about names like, and this is within the Nigerian context, by the way, I'm talking about names like Herbert Macaulay, Amadou Bello, Zeke, etc. So there are names that have weight. These are the grandees. You know, those sort of names and names of that ilk are the grandees of the Nigerian state, the gold star elite of the Nigerian society. And then from there, you start to cascade down, and then you come to names like Rotimi Williams, Ojoko, etc. And then you cascade further down, and further down that pyramid, then you start to get towards the people with money, etc., etc. So now, let's now address the people with money, the wealthy. Now, you don't need me to tell you that having money does not necessarily make you an elite. Anybody can get money by any means, and money can and is often gotten by many means. So having money does not necessarily make you an elite. So if you have a lot of money, you might well be of note. You might be the hero within your local community, a local champion, as we say in Nigeria. But it does not necessarily make you an elite. Certainly not. The elites are quite guarded in who they let into their club. It is one of those things. It is one of those, if you have to ask, then you're probably not part of it kind of things. So really, being an elite is not something that can be conferred on you. It's something that you either are or you're not, and there's a set process to being an elite within the Nigerian context. So this is one of the founding grounds, one of the foundations to be a solid education. Then it has to be an antecedent in service, and then a name that stood the test of time, etc. So there's a whole lot of requirements and fulfillment before you are then allowed to enter into that club, that exclusive club of the elite. And then having even then fulfilled all of the criteria for entry, your entry point is still defined by a different set of parameters that is weighed to your disadvantage, so that you will forever have people to look up to. So that is how the structure works. So elitism in Nigeria, a complex one, an interesting one. The Khashoggis and all that, those are the names that we conjured with when I was growing up. So what are your thoughts on elitism in Nigeria? How does it work out? How does it work for you? Do you actually recognize it as a thing? I'm not asking necessarily if you agree with it as right or wrong. I'm just asking if you are recognizing it as a thing. So this is a conversation that we're having on this video, and as usual, our conversation takes place in the comment section. This is where I usually meet you guys, so meet me there. I'll leave you here, join you there, and I'll say peace. Missing someone. Missing someone. With all your heart. Missing someone. With heart. How much you miss it. And you miss it. And you miss it. And you deserve. And you did it right from the start. And you did it right from the start. Missing someone is as normal. Missing someone, and missing someone is as normal. Missing someone. With all your heart. Missing someone. With heart. Missing someone.